What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's like 92% gentlemen and 8% ladies according to YouTube analytics, but still, I don't want to leave anybody out. We're back, and we have just a solid misfire on cylinder 1. And yes, it happened when I washed the engine. I pressure washed the motor. I knew I shouldn't have. I did it anyway. And we were misfiring on a lot of cylinders, but now it's narrowed down to cylinder 1. And I speculate that we're misfiring because we got some water in here that either hasn't evaporated or we've actually damaged a coil. Now, here's the thing. Here's cylinder 1. All right, and I believe cylinder 1 are these two coils right here. Yes, there are 2 coils per cylinder, 2 spark plugs per cylinder. So we have to pull this entire bank. And here's the thing, these coils are all mounted on this one large rail. It runs all the way to the back. So you don't just pull off a coil at a time like on an LS or something. You've got to pull the whole coil rail off to get to the coil. So then we can take a look at the individual insulators and things themselves to see if we've got any damage to the insulating boots on the coils or what's going on. To give you an idea, one of these rails with 12 coils and this coil controller right here runs about $1,300. That's for a reconditioned one. That is not something direct from Mercedes-Benz. For a reconditioned coil pack assembly, you're looking at $1,300. This car has 24 spark plugs. Yes, 24 spark plugs. The Mercedes, the OEM Mercedes spark plugs, all 24 for this, are $500 for a set of spark plugs. So if you needed to do a set of plugs and a set of coils, you are easily looking at spending $2,600 on coils and another $500. You're looking over $3,000. And that's if you do the labor yourself. $3,000 for a good tune-up. Now, luckily, you don't need to get the Mercedes-Benz spark plugs, all right? You can go and get the, like the Densos or whatever, and you're looking at, I don't know, I think it was $200. Yeah, $200 for a set of Densos for this. That should be just fine. But enough about that. Just want to give you some fun facts. There are some things that can definitely be very expensive, even for the DIYer. You know, $400, $500 to do some spark plugs, that is insane. Okay, so we need to get started. And to get started, we are going to start with this bolt right here, which I believe is a 10. And we got to come around here to the back. We've got one on this side. If I can find the damn thing, it's like a Torx. Where did she go? She's right here. You can't see it, but there's one right there, and then there's one on the other side. This will pull the intake off, and then you slide it forwards and it'll come off the mass airflow sensor, at which point we'll have full access to this coil rail here. And I guess it's called a coil rail, hell, I don't know, but we're going to take that off and see what kind of damage we've got. You can replace the individual like coil things. I don't even know, man. I've never seen anything like this, but they're about $50 a piece aftermarket. Those are new, but still aftermarket. We definitely have a solid misfire on cylinder 1. So cylinder 1 is going to be this coil and this coil right here. So this plug, we have to disconnect it. So I will find a pick and get you guys a close-up real quick on how to remove these. Somebody already broke this top one. A lot of people don't know how to remove these and they break them. But you take your pick, and in the bottom of this little assembly, there's holes in there. You just stick it in there and pop it loose. And then as you start to pull it off, you'll see this thing opens up even further. That's all there is to it. So we'll get that out of the way. We'll get this off, and then we'll start unbolting. These look like, I don't know, 11 millimeters maybe? They look bigger than a 10. So you got to take this ground wire off. Then you got one here, and then basically just diagonal like this all the way back. All right, now you're gonna slide this forward and up, and then back. Okay, back, forward, up, I don't know. We got it out, that's all that matters. All right, so here you can get a much better look of this coil assembly rail. It runs all the way back and all the way forward. So we're gonna take our 11, we're gonna start breaking these loose and pulling this thing out. Oh, there's a loose one already. That one was already loose. All right, so it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then looks like 2 more in the back. Some of these are loose. These coil packs are actually not bolted on tight. There's a loose one back there too. Huh, crazy. Alright, so with those out, we should be able to just reach down in here, give it a good wiggle. Or not. That should be all of them. So you got to kind of reach down here and just give this whole assembly a good wiggle. I'll double check, make sure I got all these bolts out, and it appears I did. So just kind of wiggle it around. Uh-oh. Had to change the camera angle on you guys because the camera fell. It's coming. There we go. Oh my goodness. Well, here are the coils. Several of these insulator boots got stuck down in there, so you got to reach down with needle nose and try to pull those out. Right here, these are the individual little coils that you can kind of replace, sort of. Usually when this thing goes dead, the whole bank of them dies. With me, I've just got a dead miss on cylinder number 1, which is going to be these 2. So I need to pull these and check them. Make sure everything looks good. Probably pull all of these off, clean them with electrical cleaner. And also need to get down here to these spark plugs. I would bet there might be some water somewhere in there. I need to blow those out. This is going to be fun. Fun, fun, fun. Alright, so what I've got here is a 5/8 with a swivel. This tends to make things a lot easier. This is magnetic. And I'm looking down in there. I don't really see any water. But then again, it's really hard to see all the way down there. So what I got to do is start on the very first one, I suppose. Move this coil assembly out of the way and then pull that spark plug out. It helps with this swivel that I have a ratchet here that has a flexible head. Oh yeah, there's water in there. Shoot. You can see how wet this spark plug is. There was definitely still water. This spark plug is wet even on the top. These are Bosch iridiums. Look how wet. No bueno. And another one that's still wet, so we know that one was problematic as well. All right, so how many of you have heard of a poor man's tune-up? Well, I'm going to show you how to do a poor man's tune-up. Now, if your spark plugs cost $500 like mine, then you might be interested in doing a Redneck tune-up. Sorry, did I say redneck? All right, so here we got our spark plugs, right? Now, most of them look pretty good. Some of them have got a ton of carbon on them. But for the most part, these spark plugs look good. So what you do is you get yourself a fairly soft bristled wire brush, a can of carb cleaner, your choice, and a spark plug gapper, which I've got mine buried somewhere. Chances are I'm not even going to look for mine because these are iridium plugs. I'm probably just going to trust the gap on these. I don't recommend you do that if you're going to do it right. Go all the way, gap your plugs, but chances are the gap's probably pretty damn close on these. So you take your spark plug cleaner. You take your carburetor cleaner and you spray the spark plug. Get down inside where the insulator is. Make sure you hit the electrode. You get your wire brush. This is difficult to do, people. In fact, this is probably impossible to do one-handed. You don't drop them. If you drop them, you definitely need to check the gap. Anyway, I know this is blurry, but take your wire brush here and scrub. And when you're done, you want it to look like the shiny one. It's that simple. Take an old blackened, burned up spark plug and turn it into this. It's as simple as scrubbing. Now, when you've got 24 spark plugs like I do, this is a real pain in the ass, but it sure beats spending anywhere from $200 to $500 on spark plugs. Here's what it looks like before. Here's what it looks like after. There's absolutely no reason you have to replace your spark plugs unless they're damaged or they just can't be regapped. So if you're on a budget, say you're some guy that's going on vacation and you spent too much money on an S600 V12 Benz and you can't afford to buy spark plugs, well, maybe you should just take them out and clean them up like this. All 24 of these
It's a new revolution. Got one life and we stand for the movement. It's a shotgun in the dark, running from my demons. And your hands shake when you lose faith in your reasons. So let it burn, brighter than it ever did. America showed us how to lose our innocence. Just kids, greatest life that ever lived. Young blood, stronger than it's ever been.
So now all we got to do is put these last 5 in, and then we get to start on the other side. Another 12. Installation is in reverse order. I've only got that side done. I still got to do this side. It's hot as hell out here, but I can't wait. I need to know. Like, I need to know now. If I fire this up, is it still going to have that dead miss on cylinder 1? Because it's driving me absolutely insane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up my trusty code reader. We're going to clear these codes out of the system, and we're going to try to fire it up. Fault codes erased successfully. Now we can move this out of the way, and I'll turn the ignition off, take the key out just for good measure, put it back in, turn the ignition on, and we should see the check engine light goes away. There we go, no check engine light. Let it run for a minute. and see if we have any more codes. Well, unfortunately, after all that work, we still have the spark plug A or B of cylinder 1 or ECI ignition module right bank of cylinders P20ED. So I guess it didn't do any good. Looks like we're going to have to replace both of those coils on cylinder 1. Okay, just in case you guys may have thought I was trying to sneak off without doing the driver's side, I decided to go ahead and show you guys that I've already torn it down. It required the removal of the fuel line. We got the fuel line disconnected right here. It required the removal of one of the air intake tubes, which goes from this plenum over to the intake. And let me tell you, it was a real pain to get this one out. This one was a lot harder. We got all of our insulator boots here. Now, see, the coil assembly is here. And now it's time to pull out the plugs, clean them, and put them back. We're going to cross our fingers and pray to God this thing starts. Let me tell you something. This has been an all-day type project, people. Well, I'm gonna say it was difficult, but it wasn't nearly as difficult as I probably would have expected a flagship V12 Benz to be. Just so you know, if you're ever going to do this, this side is the worst by far. Right now, I am so thankful this is not the bi-turbo, and that this is just a nice little naturally aspirated engine. It was a bear getting those giant coil packs on and off. My God, those things are rough. But we've got it back together. First thing I'm going to do is cycle the fuel pump because I had to disconnect the fuel lines. So I want to prime it up. And then we'll check for a leak where I had the fuel line disconnected. Now I went through and I cleared the codes again, although I know we're still going to have the same misfire. I'll be honest with you guys, I almost didn't even do this side. I was just I'm pissed, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty pissed off that I still have a misfire. Luckily, this side is not hard to get off. It's just now we're down to, do I try to individually replace those coils? I'm going to have to look it up and figure out how the hell you do it, because I couldn't figure out how to get the individual coils off. Or is it going to come down to we got to replace this whole freaking coil assembly? Because that thing at a minimum is about $650, and that right there, no. Nope. All right, here's where I disconnected the fuel line. There's no leaks. It'll run without all the covers on. That's the mass airflow sensor right there. So as long as you've got the mass hooked up, it'll be fine. I've reconnected all the cables that I disconnected. Ooh, she's not happy. She's not happy at all. Check engine light immediately. Okay, so I think we figured out what the problem is. It would appear I made a mistake. Now I could have chosen to leave this out and not let you guys know that even me, an expert, kidding of course, makes mistakes. Well, I do. There we go. Okay, now we've got half of the engine running. Let's see if she runs any better. Oh, yeah, it's a lot better. It's a whole lot better. All right, so we've got misfire in cylinder 1, 2, 3, and we've got a cam position sensor, which I unplugged it to take off that coil assembly, but I plugged it back in. So currently we have no codes, no misfires, no check engine light, and I'll show you what the problem was. So frustrating, so frustrating. Apparently, while I was down here digging around, pulling crap out, there is a cam position sensor. It's hiding. You probably cannot see it. there's a wire right there. Right there. That is a camshaft positioning sensor, and it is critical to this car's drivability. And somehow the plug came undone. I don't know how. I didn't unplug it, but it came out. So, you know, there it is. It's put back together. It's running. There's no codes at the moment. Well, I lie. There are codes. The purge valve solenoid, of course. Codes for that. And I did check the vacuum lines, and everything's good. So hopefully that purge valve solenoid will come in soon so we can get that check engine light out. Now, I'm going to put the air intake and everything back on, take it for a proper test drive, and then we will report back. Okay, we're going to take this on its maiden voyage since we tore it apart and put it back together. I will say this, before there was a very distinct miss. You could feel it in the car, and now it feels smooth as silk. So, here we go. Okay, so here's what we've got. We still have the purge valve solenoid. P2026, we knew about that. P2050, misfiring. Damages, basically P0300, which is a random misfire. P0251, misfire from cylinder 1, current and stored. P0253, misfiring of cylinder 3, current and stored. Misfiring of cylinder 2, P2055, current and stored. So we've got number 1, 2, and 3 misfiring. Then we've got stored. The rest of these are stored. P20ED, spark plug A or B of cylinder 1 or ECI ignition module bank 1 of cylinders in 92/1, stored. Now all these codes were cleared, and I made sure there were no codes in the system, and now all of these are here. So we've definitely got an issue with 1, 2, and 3. And as it turns out, 1, 2, and 3 are the firing order of this car. The right side of the engine is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The left side of the engine, or the driver's side, is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have misfires on the first 3 of 6 cylinders, which is all the passenger side of the engine. It really leads me to believe that the entire coil assembly, whatever module you want to call it, is going bad. Yeah, we have a solid 3 misfires now, which is a total of 6 coils for 3 cylinders, number 1s, 2, and 3. And it's not like it's 1, 4, 6 or something like that. Or yeah, it's steady 1, 2, 3 from the front of the engine back. That's all I got for you guys today. It's 7:15 at night. I've been doing this since early afternoon, and I don't know how I'm going to edit all the footage I've got into something that's even remotely reasonable for you guys to watch. All I can say is when you see this video, I'm going to be on a beach on vacation, or I'm going to be in a mountain somewhere hiking. So I have that to look forward to. I'm really aggravated. I'm really frustrated. This is like my first real hiccup with the car. I've had a lot of little issues, but this is the first one that looks like, I mean, after trying to fix it for free, it's not fixed. Everything else we fixed for free up until now. So, you know, it is what it is. I like to say that when I'm really pissed off. That coil assembly runs $650 used and $1,300 refurbished and around $2,200–$2,300 new. I said that earlier. So, I don't know. I guess I will come back at this another day. We're about to grill out, have some dinner, kind of enjoy the rest of the evening. I got to put this video together for you guys and get it up to YouTube. Fingers crossed we can come back to this, you know, shortly, and hopefully we get it resolved without having to drop that kind of money, because that's ouch. All right, guys, I'm out of here. If you like the content, give the video a big thumbs up. If you hope we can fix it without dropping all that money, please give the video a big thumbs up. I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys soon in the next one.